Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare wheat pennies. These classic coins hold an incredible history, and some are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest varieties, their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today. We're going deep into the world of one of the most beloved and iconic coins ever made, the United States of America wheat penny from the year 1935. At first glance, it might look like a simple old 1-cent coin, something you could easily overlook in your change jar. But what if I told you that this small copper coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars? Stay tuned until the end, because this is one story every collector will want to hear carefully. The 1935 wheat penny is part of the famous Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of a symbolic image. By 1935, the wheat penny had already become a staple of American currency, used by millions of people during the tough years of the Great Depression. These little coins circulated everywhere, from grocery stores to farms, and played a part in everyday life during one of the most challenging times in U.S. history. Now, let's take a closer look at the design that makes this coin such a timeless classic. On the front side, you'll find a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to his left, and the year 1935 to his right. On the reverse side are two wheat stalks curving along the edges, framing the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. This simple yet elegant design symbolizes growth, unity, and prosperity, values that were especially meaningful to Americans during the 1930s. But as with all great coins, what truly excites collectors isn't just the design. It's the rarity, the condition, and those fascinating minting errors that can turn an ordinary penny into a small fortune. The 1935 wheat penny was struck at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Each mint produced millions of these coins, but not all were created equal. Over time, certain varieties and rare minting mistakes have made some of these pennies incredibly valuable. One of the most famous errors is the double die strike, where the design elements appear slightly doubled because of a misalignment in the minting process. On some 1935 pennies, this doubling can be seen on the date, the word "Liberty," or the phrase "In God We Trust." These tiny details are easy to miss, but once discovered, they make the coin stand out as a rare collectible that can command astonishing prices. Another highly sought-after error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank wasn't properly centered during minting, causing part of the design to appear cut off. The more off-center the coin, the rarer it is. Collectors go crazy for these, especially when the date remains visible and the design is still clear enough to identify. There are also examples of 1935 wheat pennies with die cracks, die chips, or lamination errors. Die cracks look like small raised lines running across the surface, caused by a damaged die. Die chips appear as tiny blobs of extra metal, often found around Lincoln's eye or the lettering. Lamination errors happen when the metal layers on the coin start to separate or peel, giving it a rough or flaky texture. Each of these errors tells a story of how the coin was made, and every single one adds to its uniqueness and value. The condition of the coin also plays a massive role in determining its worth. Most of the 1935 wheat pennies found today show signs of wear and tear since they've been in circulation for nearly a century. But those rare few that have survived in mint or uncirculated condition, meaning their details are sharp, their color bright, and their surface smooth, are the real treasures. These coins are often graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and when a 1935 wheat penny receives a high mint state grade like MS 67 or MS 68, it becomes extremely valuable to collectors. Proof versions, though not commonly found for this year, are also prized for their mirror-like finish and crisp details. And sometimes, even the color of the coin can affect its value. Red Lincoln cents, which still retain their original copper shine, are worth more than the brown or dull-toned ones that have aged over time. So, A bright, well-preserved 1935 penny can be worth far more than you might expect. Collectors love the 1935 wheat penny not just for its potential value, but for what it represents. It's a coin from an era of resilience, hope, and recovery, a time when every penny truly mattered. Holding one feels like holding a piece of history, a reminder of the everyday struggles and triumphs of ordinary Americans. It's a symbol of how something small can carry such a powerful story through time. Now imagine the thrill of discovering one of these rare treasures in your collection, or even in an old box of coins handed down from your grandparents. You examine it closely, notice a double date or a sharp, uncirculated shine, and realize you could be holding something worth far more than you ever imagined. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about the adventure, the history, and the mystery behind each coin. So before you overlook that old penny in your change, take a closer look. Check the date, study the lettering, and pay attention to the details. You never know. One of those coins could be the rare 1935 wheat penny with a hidden error that makes it worth a small fortune. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the value reveal. A 1935 United States of America wheat penny, when found in flawless uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, has been valued at an incredible $91,000. Yes, $91,000 for a single penny. That's right. A tiny coin that once bought a piece of candy could now be worth more than a luxury car. So keep your eyes open, keep collecting, and who knows, you might be the next lucky person to discover one of these incredible treasures. Top 2, we're diving deep into one of the most interesting and historic coins in American history, the United States of America wheat penny from the year 1939. At first glance, it may look like a regular old cent you could find in a jar of loose change, but don't be fooled. This coin carries a legacy of history, mystery, and hidden value that could surprise even experienced collectors. So sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy this journey into the world of the 1939 wheat penny. You might be amazed by what this little copper treasure can truly be worth. The 1939 wheat penny is part of the legendary Lincoln Cent series, a design that has stood the test of time and continues to capture the hearts of collectors all over the world. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin honors President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected leaders in American history. The wheat penny series ran from 1909 to 1958 and is known for its two wheat stalks on the back, symbols of prosperity, hard work, and the growth of a strong nation. By 1939, America was emerging from the Great Depression, and these pennies served as reminders of perseverance and hope. Each coin from this year represents the resilience of ordinary Americans during that era. Let's take a closer look at what makes this coin so special. On the obverse, or front side, you'll see a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, with the words "In God We Trust" proudly displayed above his head. To his left is the word liberty, and to his right is the year 1939. On the reverse side, two elegant wheat ears curve along the edges, framing the bold words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin phrase E pluribus unum at the top. The design might seem simple, but its symbolism runs deep. It captures the values that built America: faith, unity, and growth. Now, here's where things get really exciting: the rarity and the minting errors that make the 1939 wheat penny so valuable to collectors. This coin was struck in 3 different mints: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Millions were made, but not all survived the test of time. Most were heavily circulated, worn down, or damaged, making high-grade versions very hard to find today. And in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Collectors search tirelessly for examples that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and full luster. These are the coins that can bring astonishing prices at auctions. But condition isn't the only factor. What truly makes some 1939 wheat pennies rare are the incredible minting errors that occurred during production. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where the coin's details, like the date or the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," appear doubled due to a misalignment during striking. These coins are instantly recognizable and highly desirable. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike, where the design is printed off the edge, leaving part of the coin blank. The more off-center it is while keeping the date visible, the more valuable it becomes. Some 1939 pennies also show die cracks or cuts, raised, irregular lines or blobs caused by a damaged die. These unique imperfections tell a story of the minting process itself, turning each coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible. Even tiny details like lamination errors, where the metal surface begins to peel or flake, can dramatically increase a coin's appeal among enthusiasts. Beyond errors, collectors also pay close attention to the color of the coin. The 1939 wheat penny was made mostly of copper, but over time, exposure to air can change its appearance. Coins that still shine with a bright reddish luster are considered red pennies and command the highest prices. Those that have darkened into brown or red-brown tones are less valuable, but still collectible, especially if they are well preserved. Another reason the 1939 wheat penny stands out is its place in history. It was one of the last coins minted before World War II, a period that would soon change everything, from the metals used in U.S. coins to the entire economy. In a way, the 1939 penny represents the end of an era, peaceful years before the world plunged into chaos. That historical context gives this coin even greater emotional and collectible value. So, what should collectors look for when searching for a valuable 1939 wheat penny? First, examine the mint mark. Coins from San Francisco with an S tend to be scarcer in high grades. Next, check for doubling on the lettering or numbers. Look for unusual surface patterns and inspect the coin's color and shine. If your coin looks flawless under the light, it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. It's incredible to think that a small coin made nearly a century ago can carry so much history, beauty, and worth. Every scratch, shine, or mark tells part of its story. Many people have found these coins in old collections, inherited jars, or even pocket change, only to discover that they hold something truly special. The thrill of finding one of these rare pennies is what keeps collectors searching and makes the hobby so endlessly fascinating. Now imagine you're holding a 1939 wheat penny that looks perfect. No scratches, no wear, and possibly an error that makes it even rarer. You could be holding a treasure that few people in the world own. And here's the part you've been waiting for, the incredible value. A 1939 United States of America wheat penny, in flawless uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, has been valued at an astonishing $88,000. Yes, you heard that right. $88,000 for a single penny. A coin that once had the smallest value in your pocket could now be worth a small fortune. So go check your coin collections, your family boxes, and that old jar of change. You never know what you might find. Thanks for watching, coin enthusiasts. Top 3, we're talking about a small but incredibly fascinating piece of metal that could be sitting unnoticed in your coin jar. The United States of America wheat penny from the year 1942. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary old penny, but don't let its humble appearance fool you. This coin carries stories of wartime America, rare minting errors, and astonishing collector value. So stay with me till the very end and listen carefully, because the 1942 wheat penny might just surprise you with how much it's truly worth. The 1942 wheat penny comes from a time when the world was on the brink of massive change. The United States was deeply involved in World War II, and every bit of metal mattered. Copper, which was used to make these pennies, was in high demand for military equipment, bullets, shells, and other machinery. Yet, in 1942, the U.S. Mint still used copper for pennies, saving the switch to steel for 1943. This means the 1942 wheat penny is one of the last true copper coins made before wartime changes altered the nation's coinage forever. That's what makes this coin such a special piece of history. It marks the end of an era and the beginning of one of the most iconic shifts in U.S. minting. Now, let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, or front side, you'll find the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head reads the famous motto, "In God We Trust." To his left, the word liberty, and to his right, the year 1942. The reverse side carries the classic wheat stalk design that gives this coin its popular name, the wheat penny. The two curved wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin phrase e pluribus unum arching at the top. It's a simple yet powerful design that symbolizes growth, unity, and the enduring spirit of America, especially during a time of war. But what truly turns an ordinary 1942 penny into something extraordinary are the minting errors and the condition of the coin. The 1942 wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can identify the mint mark under the year: no mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. Though millions were produced, the real treasures are the rare varieties and error coins that slipped through the mint's careful process. One of the most famous and valuable versions is the 1942 double die error, where certain letters or numbers on the coin appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. If you look closely at Liberty or In God We Trust and notice a shadow-like doubling, you might be holding a coin worth thousands. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the coin blank wasn't properly centered during minting. The more dramatic the off-center appearance, while still keeping the date visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. There's also a rare die crack variety, where a small raised line appears across Lincoln's portrait or along the edges, caused by a damaged die. These imperfections may seem minor, but for collectors, they make each coin one of a kind. Another rare and mysterious version of this coin is the 1942 steel cent. Yes, a few experimental pieces were struck on steel planchets intended for the 1943 coins. These are incredibly scarce and can fetch astronomical prices if verified. Condition, of course, plays a massive role in value. Coins that have been in circulation often show scratches, fading, or discoloration, which lowers their worth. But those that have been carefully preserved, bright, sharp, and uncirculated, are the ones that collectors dream about. These coins often receive grades like MS 66 or MS 67 from professional grading services, and their prices can skyrocket at auction. The color also matters. Bright red copper coins are worth the most, followed by red-brown and brown tones. What makes the 1942 wheat penny so captivating is that it carries both historical and emotional value. Imagine holding a penny that was minted while soldiers were preparing to serve overseas, when every American was contributing to the war effort. It's more than just a coin. It's a time capsule from one of the most significant moments in world history. Every scratch, shine, and detail on it tells a story that has survived for over 8 decades. For coin enthusiasts and collectors, this penny represents one of those perfect combinations of history, rarity, and opportunity. Whether it's the thrill of finding one in an old collection or the joy of spotting an error that others missed, the 1942 wheat penny continues to be a beloved part of the numismatic world. Its simplicity hides an extraordinary tale, one that reminds us that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest stories. So, if you have a 1942 penny lying around, don't overlook it. Take a closer look at its condition, check for any doubling or minting errors, and inspect its color and shine. What looks like a simple piece of copper might actually be worth far more than you think. You could be holding a hidden treasure that collectors everywhere dream of finding. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for, the value reveal. A 1942 United States of America wheat penny, in flawless uncirculated condition or featuring a rare minting error, has been valued at an incredible $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. $85,000 for a single penny. Imagine that. Something once used to buy candy or a newspaper now worth as much as a luxury car. That's the magic of coin collecting. History, mystery, and value all wrapped into one tiny copper coin. So keep your eyes open, treasure hunters, because your next big discovery might be sitting right in your change jar. For we're uncovering the story behind one of America's most fascinating little treasures, the United States of America wheat penny from the year 1950. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary penny that has passed through countless hands, but this coin hides a world of history, rarity, and mystery that could make it worth far more than 1 cent. So sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy this story, because by the end, you'll never look at an old penny the same way again. The 1950 wheat penny belongs to the famous Lincoln cent series, a design that became an enduring symbol of American strength and pride. These coins were first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured Lincoln's portrait on the front, marking the first time a real person appeared on a U.S. coin. On the reverse side, the simple yet elegant design of two wheat ears earned it the name Wheat Penny. The design represents growth and prosperity, values deeply rooted in the spirit of America. Now, let's step back into the year 1950. The country was entering a new era after World War II, full of optimism and economic recovery. The mint continued producing wheat pennies in large numbers, but not all coins struck that year were created equal. The 1950 wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. While millions were made, what makes certain 1950 wheat pennies so valuable today are their rare minting errors and exceptional condition. Let's take a closer look at the design first. On the obverse, you'll see Lincoln's detailed profile, with "In God We Trust" inscribed above, Liberty to his left, and the year 1950 to the right. On the reverse, the 2 curved wheat stalks frame 1 cent, United States of America, and the Latin phrase E pluribus unum. The craftsmanship and balance of this design continue to make it one of the most beloved coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Now, here's where things get fascinating: the minting errors and variations that can make a 1950 wheat penny worth thousands. One of the most sought after is the double die obverse error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions, causing parts of the design, like the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust, to appear doubled. The effect is subtle but unmistakable to trained eyes. These coins are extremely rare, and collectors are always eager to find them. Another famous variety is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly centered under the die during minting, resulting in a portion of the design missing or shifted. The more off-center the strike, while still keeping the date visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. There are also die cracks and cuds, which are small raised lines or blobs of metal caused by a damaged or broken die. These imperfections make every coin unique. Collectors love them because no two are exactly alike, and they give a glimpse into the minting process itself. Another notable variant is the BIE error, found between the letters B and E in Liberty. It looks like an extra letter, I, formed by a die break. The 1950 wheat penny is known for several examples of this quirky little error, and it adds serious charm and value to the coin. And of course, condition plays a major role in determining a coin's worth. Most 1950 wheat pennies spent decades in circulation, getting scratched, worn, and tarnished. But those that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition are extremely rare. A coin with its original luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear can fetch an astonishing price at auction. These are often graded on the Sheldon scale, where anything graded MS 65 or higher is considered premium quality. Bright red examples, those that still shine with their original copper color, are especially desirable. The mint location also adds to the rarity. For example, the 1950 wheat penny from San Francisco is harder to find in top condition compared to the Philadelphia version. And a 1950 D coin with a clean strike and full luster can attract strong interest from serious collectors. But beyond its market value, the 1950 wheat penny carries deep historical significance. It's a reminder of post-war America, a time of growth, innovation, and new beginnings. People carried these pennies in their pockets as they bought their first televisions, new cars, and homes. Every 1950 penny is a silent witness to a time when America was redefining its future, and that makes owning one a connection to a truly special chapter in history. For collectors, the thrill is in the hunt, finding that one rare penny hidden among thousands of ordinary ones. Maybe it's hiding in your old coin jar, tucked away in a forgotten drawer, or passed down from a grandparent. You never know when you might spot that telltale doubling and off-center design, or a perfectly preserved copper glow that reveals you've discovered something extraordinary. So next time you see a 1950 wheat penny, don't rush to spend it or toss it aside. Examine it closely. Check its color, inspect the date, look for tiny errors, and imagine the story it tells. These coins are more than metal. They're pieces of living history, connecting us to a past where every cent truly counted. And now, it's time for the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. A 1950 United States of America wheat penny, when found in flawless uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, has been valued at an incredible $83,000. Yes, you heard that right. $83,000 for a single penny. That's the magic of coin collecting. Discovering hidden treasures in plain sight, holding history in your hand, and realizing that even the smallest coin can carry a story and a fortune. So, keep searching, coin lovers. Your next great discovery could be waiting right under your nose. Top 5. We're diving into one of the final and most interesting chapters in the history of the wheat penny, the United States of America wheat penny from the year 1958. At first glance, it may seem like a common coin, one you might find lying forgotten in a drawer or mixed into your spare change. But what if I told you that some versions of this humble penny have turned out to be worth an absolute fortune? Stay tuned, because this story is packed with history, mystery, and a surprise that every coin enthusiast will love. The 1958 wheat penny marks the end of an era in American coinage. It was the last year the U.S. Mint produced the classic wheatback design before switching to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This made the 1958 issue a special coin for collectors. It represents the closing chapter of one of America's most beloved designs. Created by Victor David Brenner, the wheat penny had been a staple in American pockets since 1909, honoring the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Its longevity and symbolism made it more than just currency. It became a piece of American identity. Let's start with the design that collectors have cherished for generations. On the obverse, or front side, you'll find a beautifully detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, symbolizing wisdom, courage, and leadership. Above his head is the national motto, "In God We Trust." To his left, the word liberty, and to his right, the date 1958. On the reverse, two gracefully curved wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum arching proudly above. Those wheat ears stand for agricultural strength and prosperity, values that helped define America throughout the 20th century. Now, let's explore what makes this coin so special and why collectors are willing to pay enormous amounts for certain 1958 wheat pennies. Although millions were produced that year, only a few carry the combination of rarity, error, and perfect condition that transforms an ordinary penny into a treasure. The 1958 wheat penny was struck in two mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a small D beneath the date. The majority came from the Philadelphia mint, but not all were perfect. The real excitement among collectors comes from rare varieties and minting mistakes that happened during production. One of the most famous and valuable varieties is the 1958 double die obverse, a striking error where parts of the design appear doubled due to a slight shift in the die during minting. On these coins, you can clearly see a doubling effect on the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1958. This variety is one of the most sought after in U.S. coin history, and only a few genuine examples are known to exist. When one appears on the market, it can create a bidding frenzy among serious collectors. Other fascinating errors from the 1958 wheat penny include off-center strikes, die cracks, and die chips. An off-center strike happens when the coin blank is not properly centered under the die, causing part of the design to be missing. Depending on how off-center it is, these coins can be extremely valuable, especially if the date remains visible. Die cracks and die chips, on the other hand, occur when the die used to strike the coin begins to wear or break, leaving raised lines or small blobs of extra metal on the surface. These imperfections give each coin a unique identity, making them highly collectible. The BI error is another popular variety found on some 1958 wheat pennies. This happens when a small die break appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, forming what looks like a tiny capital I. It's a small detail, but collectors love it because it turns an ordinary coin into a conversation piece and adds value. Of course, condition is one of the biggest factors that determine a coin's worth. Most 1958 wheat pennies have been in circulation for decades, showing signs of wear, scratches, and dulling. But those few that remain in mint or uncirculated condition are the true stars. These coins retain their original coppery red shine, crisp details, and mirror-like luster. Graded by professional services as MS-65, MS-66, or higher. These are the examples that can reach astonishing prices. Color also plays a major role in determining value. Collectors classify Lincoln cents into three color categories: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. Red coins, which have maintained their original bright copper tone, are the most desirable. A 1958 wheat penny that glows with that rich red color and shows no signs of aging is a collector's dream. But beyond its errors and condition, the 1958 wheat penny holds deep historical significance. It represents the end of nearly 5 decades of the wheat design, a design that had seen the country through 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and an age of innovation. By 1959, America was looking ahead, and the Lincoln Memorial replaced the wheat ears as a symbol of progress. This makes the 1958 issue the perfect bridge between old America and a new era of modern coinage. For coin collectors, this penny is more than metal. It's a farewell to a design that shaped American numismatic history. Holding one feels like touching the past, like holding a piece of the everyday lives of millions of people from another time. Every scratch and shine tells a story. Stories of pocket change, trade, and the daily life of a bygone generation. So, if you ever come across a 1958 wheat penny, don't underestimate it. Take a close look at the date, check for doubling, and notice every tiny detail. Examine its color, shine, and edges. Who knows? You might just be holding a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. And now, for the moment every collector waits for, the value reveal. A 1958 United States of America wheat penny, found in flawless, uncirculated condition or with a rare double die error, has been valued at an incredible $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. $80,000 for a single penny. That's the power of rarity and history combined in one tiny piece of copper. So, before you toss that old coin aside, take a closer look. It could be your ticket to an incredible discovery. Thank you for watching, coin enthusiasts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing coin stories. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, every coin has a secret waiting to be discovered.